Hey guys, I just want to talk about some things that are going on right now. Um, Great game or great win at the end. It's against Brentford, shouldn't really mean anything, but the scenes at the end of that game is very um, good for us as a team, and I hope that we learn from that. But I need to talk about these people online, these people that have these huge platforms, and they continually spew such stupid, unsettling vitriol about this team, about our coach, and looking at everything with some sort of negative impact. I watched, because I didn't watch this guy during the game, because obviously I watched the game. I don't sit there and just pontificate the entire game. I'm sitting there, want to see how the game's going, see if we're getting into the game, see if we're putting some pressure on them, and if we're going to get a goal. It didn't feel like that for a long time, but I thought we made the changes, and we were clearly put them under pressure, and they continually got further and back, and there was always an opportunity that we are going to get a good shot in, and we did, and it wasn't called, and then we got the second and the third, whatever. My issue is with the same people online. His name is Mark Goldbridge, and now he thinks now what Sancho said, some of what he said was good. Now he's been talking about during the game with about 3 minutes left, right before he scored our first goal. He made this statement that he's lost the players, that the coach has, and he was already tweeting this shit out right before Scott the first goal, and then I don't know if he actually sent it out, but he was pushing this narrative already that we've lost. He's lost the players. When how could he have lost the players when they're the ones making the errors? We're not playing that great, but we're not playing poorly. We dominate the ball. We're not getting a lot of chances, and we're just giving away goals. I don't think that's a way that you actually lose the players. The players are like, if you don't, he said that, and he's been talking. It's like this favorite FC thing, and he said this under oil Solskjaer as well. So now he's bringing it out again. It's like he's just repeating the same bullshit he said about Ole. Ole lost because we didn't play very well, and uh, we went into a bad stretch of games. And maybe he lost the players. He probably did, even though he loved all the players, and he didn't want to go, obviously. But this reactionary, and this guy is in his 40s now. He's not a young kid that's so reactionary to everything. And he's like, well, I waited and I waited and I waited on Mourinho. I waited and waited and waited on Ole. And I waited. We're 15 months in here, and he's already like, he's getting close to where some people are going to say he should be out. I'm like, based on what? Yeah, okay, it would be the worst ever starting in the Premiership. But you have to look at each game and see where we're messing up. And you also have to give him some help here, because we've had more injuries that I've ever seen that really impact how we play. He should be given credit for taking off Casemiro. He should be given credit for do whatever he could do, bringing Garnacho on earlier, taking off Rashford, all that stuff, and he allowed the players to win it. So now, okay, he backtracked when we scored the two goals. So he didn't take out that tweet. I don't think he actually put it out there. But when he does his little show after, he said, well, these players didn't play well. And some of what Sancho said, he shouldn't have done it. But I agree with some of that, because he only plays the guys he likes. I'm like, that's just absolutely insane. Has Sancho done anything to prove that he should start? If there was a guy the only person who could possibly say that is Garnacho, and Garnacho can deal with it. There's nothing we've seen from Garnacho that says he's not giving everything for the club or for the coach. He understands what he has to do. Sancho didn't, and he got exactly what he deserved. And now, because what he said and some of that thing is true, every coach has their favorites. It's not just for any player or any coach that's been for Manchester United. Everybody has their coach. Every coach has a favorite that knows that they'll do the same thing he wants them to do, that they want to trust them. And sometimes, in a lot of ways, that gets managers fired. Now, I saw I saw the body language today with Rashford again, even though I thought he played okay. But you never see that from Garnacho. You don't see that from Palestri. You don't see that even from Casemiro, really. But this throwing up his hands and um, just walking to his position, and then when they go on a counterattack, just loping back to his position. But I mean, he took him off with 30 minutes left, and Garnacho changed the game. We kept giving it to him. He tried to do something. He went to the byline. He didn't. Whereas Rashford doesn't do that. He goes the same place all the time. And although I think he played okay, but my issue is this is the same fucking idiot that continually says that Maguire should have left, that he was too greedy and that's why he stayed, and that he'll never be able to play for England. And meanwhile, he's probably going to play when he comes back. He played a really good game today. He was imperious in the pushing the ball down. He was pushing us down with his physicality. Yeah, if Brentford would have been more clinical as far as passing the ball over, they might have got a second goal, but they didn't do it. And at the end of at the end of the day, this same stupid idiot is still saying that we should have never got rid of Nagia. And I don't care if he'd have stayed for another year. I wish he could have stayed and been a backup, I guess. But he doesn't have the temerity to go back and look at David's first 10 or 15 games at Manchester United. He won't take that and compare it. This is basically the same thing. These are young goalkeepers that go to Manchester United. They're going to have some time to settle, but you want to do that because we should have kept him and got another guy in midfield, or we should have got another center back. Is it really the center backs that are actually losing the game, or is it just stupid individual errors? And our strike force can't score. We don't get enough opportunities to score. Our midfield never gets the ball. I mean, I watched the first half of that game, and Onana was kicking the ball over the midfield because we couldn't even get it to the midfield. So, and we have this Casemiro and Arabat, and everybody said this is going to be the thing that unlocks us. That looked horrible, and Casemiro played horribly. Lost the ball that led to the goal. Then he lost it other parts of the game, and I give him a lot. He took off a dude that's won 5 Champions Leagues, starts for Brazil at halftime. He clearly knew how important this game was. And I know he's sitting there on the sidelines, and it's in 90 minutes, and he's like, I'm probably going to be dealing with this while on the international break. And he's going to have to deal with this and deal with this. And maybe he might lose some of the players. But if you're a professional, that should not happen. If it's the same players, then it is the same players. But I didn't see anything from Maguire that looked like he wasn't playing for the coach. McTominay came in and acted like he was Alan Shearer at the end of that game. It just shows you that if you have the motivation, if you continually try, eventually it turns. And we hope that it now turns. And it's like, I don't understand. This guy's not 20, all right? He's been around for a while. He has to know that we had the same issue with Ferguson. And it was 3 or 4 years, and we were going to get rid of him. And then we won the FA Cup. And I know it's different now, but come on. Who else is there going to be out there we're going to bring in? And get these players to do what he wants. He has changed how we play the game crazily differently. And it's caused problems on defense. But we have to go through this to be better. And on his credit, he said it's going to be like that. We're going to be up and down. Okay? We understand that. But celebrate the fact that we fought through it, that McTominay, a guy you said that should have been gone, that is not good enough for Manchester United, came on, had 2 goals, and then you're going to say he's Stubby Goo and all the bull. He plays for Scotland, all that shit. He can clearly play for Manchester United. He's done it for almost 200 appearances. He can play for him. We finished second with him. I mean, I don't like the way we played. The biggest thing is we shouldn't have got rid of Fred either. Okay. And it doesn't mean that McTominay's not going to start. He's not. This is what McTominay can do. He can be like Fellaini did. He can go up front and just be a handful in the box. And he can definitely do this. He was a center forward when he was a youth team player. So clearly, you saw that first goal was world class. That was a volley, and then he got himself in a good position, and Maguire hit the ball to him. And these are the two guys that everybody said they're not good enough. They shouldn't play for Manchester United. Well, thank God that they did, and that they played today, and they got the two goals, or we would be killing at each other right now. But we're still going to blame everything else. They're not going to say that the players didn't come together. When I think that they did. I think that they tried and tried and tried and tried. And there has to be more than this bullshit all the time, reactionary to everything. Sancho is where exactly he should be. Okay, you can say the recruitment of Anthony could be off. You can say that we got the wrong guys in. What did Evans do bad today? Everybody's like, I can't believe he's still for Manchester United. He's too old. He shouldn't be able to be there. He shouldn't be a backup. What did he do bad today? It seriously. Other than Onana, what he probably should have saved that one, he had two good saves later in the game that kept it 1-0 and gave us an opportunity. But you cannot. This guy's got such a huge platform, and there's so many people that are sycophants for him, and he said the same shit, and he's been talking like this for a couple weeks now, even though he's not Ten Hag out. He's pushing the narrative that that's where we're going. Or then he said the Glazers can't do it because it'll be too much money to get another player or another team or another coach. How about that sounds like the more righteous thing to do, to give your coach a little bit more time and get the right players that he wants. And then let's see if we change. If we get our players back from injury and we actually can play with the players that he wants to play on the pitch, let's see what that gets us. It's like, do you see who we had? You guys say these guys shouldn't play for Manchester United. Maguire shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. Evans shouldn't play for Manchester United. Lindelof shouldn't be playing there. Shouldn't be playing fullback for Manchester United. He's not good enough. Delo not playing in the right position. He should be on the other side. And then the midfield, you got Aberbat is a loanee. And then you get Mount, who's out. Mount didn't play well today. I think he was kind of he did some of the stuff, but he didn't do exactly what like Fred does. And if Fred actually breaks up the play and doesn't really pass well, if you're not as good as Fred at breaking it up, you have to be the other side of it. You have to be more offensive. And he didn't play as well as I hope he would have today. But overall, at the end, we had so much bad karma going against us since basically Wolves when they should have got a penalty apparently and didn't get it. Let me move this so I can watch this soccer. Okay. Oh, I didn't know Missouri was 5-0. Crazy. Anyway, I'm tired of these players of these flat platforms saying this shit, and then on their fan forum it has a thing that says "Lucky United." It's not lucky when you force those type of opportunities. That's not luck. That's Fergie time or whatever, and everybody would love it. So you're gonna call it lucky now? We dominated that game. We did. We didn't play. I'm not gonna say that we dominated like we did 20 years ago. But we clearly, and we did this against Galatasaray as well. We dominated the game. We played stupid and on defense a couple times. They countered and they scored goals, but we dominated that game too. I see the progress. There's going to have to be better players in those positions. Casemiro is not going to be the player that's going to take us to the next level. He doesn't have it in his feet. He doesn't have the stamina to do that anymore. That what Ten Hag wants to do. The question is, are we going to allow Ten Hag to have the type of team with his style, or are we going to continually say, well, it's not working, so let's go back and just be counterattack type of like under Ale? Are we going to give him time to do this with the players that he wants, and understand there's going to be ups and downs? I mean, this team could win 10 in a row, or it could lose 3 or 4 in a row. If we have the same individual errors, we're going to have that. This is going to be great for our confidence. We don't need guys like Bart Gorbage or anybody there's other shows to sit there and say that we were lucky or there's that somehow that he's lost the team. I mean, that's just absolute insanity. After 5 or 6 games, this or that'll be eight. There'll be eight games that were he's lost the team. They know what they've done wrong. They're the ones who make the errors. So how's it on Ten Hag? And he plays all these players in. The only issue I have is that there are times that he waits and waits and waits before he brings on people, and he didn't do that tonight. So obviously, McTominay is gets a 10 out of 10. He played for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, had 2 goals, dominated them, and we won the game. Ten Hag is a 7 or 8 as the coach. He had to do with what he had, and he brought guys in to do things. So when they talk about tactical masterclass and all that shit, he won that game by his substitutions and pushing the players to do what they're supposed to do. It's not lucky. Or then you're going to say all the times that Manchester United's won at an extra time, even the Champions League final in '99, that was all fucking lucky. You can't say it. He deserves the win. The team deserves the win. Now we move on, and hopefully the confidence will come back. And this will be a good thing for Casemiro and Rashford to sit there and watch the team actually win without them. It'll help. It actually will help Casemiro as well. It'll maybe heal his legs will be a bit better. I don't know if this Abramat and Casemiro thing in the midfield is going to work. It might work later on if everything works. If you have the right players behind him in the back four, maybe it will. I like Abramat. I think he did pretty well in midfield. As soon as the Casemiro went off there, he was pretty good. I have no real complaints with that. The problem is when you bring in, he bring in Eriksen, man, and Eriksen doesn't defend. And it was. That was some big balls, man. And I've got to give him a lot of credit for it. It could have definitely went home, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to do whatever I can to get this win," and he did it. So we have to say he did his good job. And fuck this idea that he's lost that team or that somehow Sancho was right on some of what he said. This is a guy that's done. I don't understand this. When we were looking for Sancho, why didn't Mark talk about the shit he was doing at Dortmund, and he was doing the same shit now 3 years later, 4 years later, and now he thinks that what he said there is okay, but we know what happened. He said what he did in the past. This is what he does. Sancho was wrong. You want standards. This is exactly what you wanted when you wanted Ten Hag to come here. You wanted standards, and he wants standards. And now you're saying, well, something of what he said is right. Oh, fuck. Are you? Of course, every coach has favorites. Why wouldn't they? You look at who's got the best players and say, what would be my top 11 that I would put on the pitch? If those were available, they're going to start. You want to call them favorites? Or those who deserve to be there based on how I coach it and what the vision I have to play? Of course that's good. It's so superficial. It's not real. The idea that professional soccer players lost the room because, he said this as well, because David left, and that lost the entire dressing room. Okay, maybe for a day, but that's not what they're here for. Everybody liked David, great, but everybody also knew, including himself, knew that we needed a different type of player to play that position. And David had a lot of position or errors last year. I guess it's like we forget that because he had 17 or 18 clean sheets. We had a really good defense in front of him. But all I can say is that this could have been a 2-0 game. It really could have been. But we have the idea that our heads go down after we go down 1-0. We never did. I think we kind of did for 5 minutes after they scored. But we eventually played, and we just willed it, and they were just continually fouling us and getting yellow cards, and you could tell they were getting tired at the end of the game, and they bought guys on the field that weren't as good as the guys that left, and they thought that would have been good enough to win it out. And when you continually allow it to come in your box, Shit like this happens to us. And that's not luck. We forced it. But anyway, I think I'll stop right there. I think people just need to allow us to enjoy this win. I think we go into international break now, and then we come out. There should be players back. Hopefully, Shaw will be back. Maybe Regalon will be back, and we're going to see a little bit better of opportunities that we're going to have the ability to have goals to do, and you're going to see this. It's very possible that Maguire's going to play a hell of a lot more than a lot of people want him to do, and he's fine for almost everybody except for the very top teams. But if we had a really good midfield, he would not have to be worried about it as much. And again, we're going to have to figure out if Casemiro can work with Amrabat, or maybe Amrabat will be in there because Amrabat doesn't go crazy like Casemiro does. He does what he has to do. He always will back up the play. He's like Fred, but a little bit more physical than him. So we'll see with that. But I'm so happy that they won. Like I said on my other video, I haven't really reacted since we won the champions or the like that since we won the European Champions League in '99. I have not because because it's so important that we won because we don't want guys like this with all their fucking following to sit there and say, well, maybe we should talk about no Ten Hag anymore. And I'm not even going to watch their shit anymore because they're going to still say, well, we probably didn't deserve that. We had 70% of the. I'm tired of it. We're not the same team that we were 20 years ago. We don't dominate teams like that. We don't have so many chances. We just don't do that. We're not Manchester City. We're just not. You know, maybe we will be, but I don't want to be Manchester United. I want to be Manchester United. I don't want to be Manchester City. I want to be Manchester United. And eventually, if we allow this coach time, we'll get to where we need to go. We'll be imperious in the back. We'll have a good goalkeeper. We'll have a good midfield, and we'll just score enough goals and do things. Champions League's not over. We can go and beat Copenhagen twice in a row, and then we can beat Bayern at home, and we can get something against Galatasaray. All that shit can happen. We can still win other trophies. We're not going to win the league, but to say that we can't do anything with this team, we can. The fact that we've dealt with so many injuries and so much karma against us, whether it's true or not, right? Whether you think it's karma or not, there's something that was against us, which should have been whatever. Do you think that Spurs is going to be in the top four? They're one right now. Do you think they're going to win the top? I mean, what are they? They're 8 points ahead of us, 9, whatever. Let's just see how that goes. But I still think we're going to be above them. That might be in the top, it might not be in the top four, but we'll see. This is a big, huge win for us, and how that we did it is very important. The fact that some ass a week before, or a minute before we scored those 2 goals, that he's lost the players. That's just this reactionary bullshit needs to fucking stop. You already have your 2 million watching you. Be more rational next time instead of just spewing this stupid bullshit all the damn time. All right, you guys have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.